Yo, what's going on? GZTV. You guys might be disappointed today because I didn't watch any movies. I didn't watch The Boys. We just watched Breaking Bad yesterday. So, I'm going to be giving you guys a review of the 12th episode of Season 4. And by the way, this is not spoiler free. We're going through the plot. We're kind of discussing what happened. Because I say this because I was on my YouTube recommended page and someone spoiled something out of Breaking Bad. Like the title of the video said something happened, and I'm not going to say it to you guys because we are not at that point in the show yet. I'm so annoyed. It's not really that important, but it is. It's really important what I got spoiled. I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm not going to ruin it for everyone else if you're watching with me. I don't know if you are or not, if you're watching Breaking Bad alongside me. But after receiving an anonymous warning from Saul Goodman about Hank Schrader having been targeted by a drug cartel, the DEA dispatches a squad of agents to guard Hank and Marie Schrader's house. So Saul Goodman saves the day once again, and I'm pretty sure he was the one that called about Hank getting attacked by the Salamanca twins. I want to say he is the one that did that. He might not have been. But I don't know. I feel like he did. Saul Goodman's always there. He's one of the most reliable characters on the show. He's there when you need him. The White family is also brought to the Schrader household for protection, but Walter White convinces Skylar White to let him stay behind at their own house, ready to face the consequences of his actions. So Walter White is kind of ready to see the end of it. I need to stay off the internet. I need to get Breaking Bad off my recommended page because, my God, the show has been too good for me to get spoiled. Shit. I've already gotten spoiled, like, things that happen at the end of the next season, so I'm kind of annoyed. Walt sits nervously in the backyard, spinning a gun on the table that keeps pointing at him, but takes note when it points at a potted plant. I mean, this guy has gone completely off the deep end. Walter White has gone absolutely insane. And if I've ever accidentally spoiled the show, I just say episode review. So if you're not at this point in the show, do not watch my review yet. Why is my LED light not showing up? It's really bright. Okay, sorry about that. Hank deduces that his investigation of Gus Fring is the reason for the threat on his life, so he asks Gomez to search the industrial laundromat for him. Look, I think Hank's right, and he is right, and I think he has a very reasonable cause. He has a probable cause for investigating Gus Fring, because why in the hell would they threaten Hank with the cartel? Like, Gomez was like, oh, it's the cartel, it's not Gus. They're the ones that threatened you. But it's so coincidental because they drove by the laundromat and then they attacked him. So I think that Hank is really observational. I don't know if I'm rooting for Hank or the other guys because I guess Walt's kind of tied in with them, but I don't know. Gus is a good villain. We'll see how he holds up. Gomez and an officer with a drug sniffing dog later check out the laundromat but don't find anything, although Jesse Pinkman and Tyrus Kitt were below them in the hidden meth lab, so they don't figure out about the meth lab. So Gus is in the clear right now. Hank looks kind of stupid because they don't find anything in this laundromat. Did they really look hard enough, though? I don't know. Gus, in a phone call to Jesse, implies the police attention is Walter's fault and Walter must be killed to protect themselves, but Jesse again refuses to cook if Walter is killed. Jesse has too much of an emotional attachment to Walter. You know, they've been through so much together. Jesse kind of got Walter into the meth trade, and he doesn't want to see his partner go. I think, deep down inside, he wants to be with Gus to not get fucking killed, but at the same time, he wants to protect Walter at all costs. And we stan you for that, Jesse. We like that. Saul later hands Jesse's entire share of the meth profits to Jesse, since Saul is planning to temporarily flee Albuquerque until the feud between Walter and Gus is over. So Saul doesn't want anything to do with it. He is their lawyers. I'm sure he's Gus's lawyer as well, but he doesn't want to get in the middle of this turmoil that these two have started to have. Walter contemplating killing him. And in this episode, Walter takes some action that doesn't go to plan, but you will see. You will hear about it. Saul reveals that Gus took Walter to the desert and threatened his family, a revelation by which Jesse is taken aback. Jesse doesn't realize what Gus did to Walt, in between the times here. He doesn't realize it. And Gus does some evil shit. He is a classic villain in this show. I'm a really big fan of what Gian like. This show has really made me love Giancarlo Esposito as an actor. I mean, I've watched plenty of other shows with him in it. I mean, I watched The Boys. He was in Far Cry 6. I played that game. He's just a great actor, I think. He's so calm and emotionless that he's perfect for a villainous character. You know? Jesse later receives a call from Andrea Cantillo that her son Brock Cantillo has become seriously ill and is in the hospital, and you guys are going to find very soon why he's in the fucking hospital. Jesse discovers the ricin cigarette, which he kept handy to poison Gus, is missing, and concludes that Brock somehow ingested the ricin. Now, who did this? It's still a mystery even at the end of the episode. We don't figure out who actually did this. There's a lot of circulation that maybe Gus did it because Gus wants to shoot back at Jesse for backing Walter. I don't know. Jesse confronts a paranoid Walter at the White's house. Jesse made a terrible decision at creating a big rift between him and Walter once again. I don't know why he did this. But yeah. Jesse grabs Walter's gun and points it at him, accusing him of poisoning Brock out of spite. Now, why would Walter want to do this to kids? You know what I mean? Walter claims that Gus must have planned Brock's poisoning and framed Walter for it in order to manipulate Jesse into killing him. The cameras around the lab probably spotted the cigarette, and Tyrus must have taken out of Jesse's locker, tracked down Brock, and poisoned him. They definitely know where Andrea lives, I would say, because Jesse's always around there. That's like one of the only places besides his house and the lab that he goes to. They definitely pay attention to Jesse. His car's probably freaking chipped for all that we care. I mean, Gus is a mastermind. You just never know what he's up to. I don't know why he'd accuse Walter. And that's a good plan for Gus to get Jesse to turn on his partner Walter, but it doesn't work in the end. Walter and Jesse's relationship remains kind of intact. It is kind of a roller coaster ride for these two. I mean, this is the first season where they really had true doubt towards each other. Walter and Jesse know Gus is not above killing children after the death of Andrea's younger brother, Tomas Cantillo. So he's coming to fucking complete the whole thing. Kind of an evil fucker, but I love this evil fucker, guys. Like, he's one of my favorite characters in the show. And Jesse ultimately decides that Walter is innocent. The two team up to kill Gus. They try to formulate this plan. You guys will kind of see what this plan is later on in the episode. Jesse visits the hospital daily, but Andrea will not let him see Brock after he divulges knowledge about the ricin poisoning. So Andrea's getting kind of suspicious. She's like, are the guys that you're working with, are they the ones that poisoned him? Are you, like, associated with some terrible people? They're the same people that killed Tomas, and she's probably starting to get suspicion of that. Jesse refuses to leave the hospital, which ruins the latest meth cook, and says he will only leave if Gus orders him to in person. So the plan is to thwart Gus into coming into the hospital, and yeah, Walter's going to do his part here in a little bit. When Gus arrives at the hospital, Walter plants a homemade car bomb under Gus's car and watches from a nearby rooftop for the right moment to detonate it. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. They plan to blow up the car, killing Gus. Gus is not that stupid, though. Gus figures this out. As Gus and his bodyguards return to the car, Gus senses something is amiss and leaves the area, leaving Walter distraught about missing his chance. So this was the chance to kill Gus. He remains alive in the series. We will see what happens to him later on, but my god, is he a badass. I mean, this is seen as one of Season 4's best episodes. I mean, I'm sure the finale's better. I would hope the finale's better, or else it's just a big disappointment. I mean, Jesse's performance, Aaron Paul, people like. The ending with Walt and Gus, the revelation in the episode that Brock is poisoned was a very interesting storyline that a lot of people messed with. It's about a 9 out of 10 episode. It's in the better half of Breaking Bad episodes, but not by much. I think it's like a top 30 episode, if I had to say. It's nothing like too crazy, too amazing or anything, but there's just so many revelations, so many cool storylines developing, and that's been a big thing for the season. But that's all for me right now. I might have a Far Cry 6 gameplay video later, and I might be talking about new music. We're probably going to listen to new music while playing some Fortnite here in a little bit, so we'll see how that goes.